Old houses are supposed to creak. Wood settles, pipes sigh, floors groan with age. But this house in Quincy, Illinois, it didn't just creak. It whispered. It shifted, sometimes late at night. The quilts on the bed folded themselves back, as if making room for someone who never left. Locals call it the Old Rebel House, a place where even the wind refused to linger near its porch. Tonight, we're heading home, back to Quincy, Illinois, for a story tangled in war, guilt, and the ghosts that history leaves behind. It's a haunting that feels less like a legend and more like a wound that never healed. This is the story of the Old Rebel House, where even the walls seem to remember which side you were on. During the Civil War, Quincy sat right on the fault between North and South, a border town where loyalties split across dinner tables. Brothers fought under different flags, churches divided their pews by politics, and neighbors whispered behind closed doors. And on the edge of town stood a modest brick home owned by the Harper family. Quiet people with Southern sympathies. They weren't just soldiers, they were supporters, but in a town like Quincy, that was enough. Rumors said Mr. Harper helped Confederate fugitives move north, hiding them in the cellar by candlelight, passing messages through the Union checkpoints. When the war ended, the peace should have followed, but in this house, it didn't. It began with quilts. Every night, Miss Harper would make the bed neatly, corners tucked, fabric smoothed flat, but by morning the covers were pulled back like someone had laid there in the dark. At first, she blamed her children. Then she locked the door. The next day, the bed was disturbed again. That night, the whole family heard it. Slow, dragging footsteps in the hallway, doors rattling, and the faint sound of breathing. When Miss Harper opened the door, she saw a figure standing at the threshold. A tall man, face blurred like smoke, eyes burning faint red. He never entered. He just looked in and walked straight through the locked door. People started calling him the Rebel Devil. Word spread through Quincy fast. Some said the Harper family's Southern sympathies had cursed them, that the devil had come to claim a debt. Others believed the ghost was one of the soldiers they'd once hidden, a man who died in the cellar, left unburied and forgotten. Visitors told the same stories over and over, boots pacing the upper hallway, lights flickering in the rooms with no candle, and that heavy, breathless feeling like the house itself was watching. One stormy night, 1870s, lightning struck nearby. For a split second, the flash lit up a figure in the upstairs window, broad shoulder, staring down at the road. Every living soul was downstairs. When they ran up to check, the room was empty except for the smell of tobacco and blood. A few blocks away stood Madison School, another piece of Quincy's dark past. According to city records, a woman was murdered there, her blood stained in the wood, floors so deeply it could never be scrubbed away. Teachers tried everything, soap, bleach, sanding, but the stain would always come back, darker each time. Students whispered that her ghost still haunts the halls, her footsteps echoing when no one else was there. Some claimed her spirit was drawn to the old rebel house, that she once worked there or had family inside. Two hauntings, one grief, and somehow both stories bled into each other, as if sorrow recognized its own kind. By the 1900s, Quincy had changed. Electric lights, factories, the hum of streetcars along the river, but the rebel house didn't change with it. Its shutters hung loose, its windows stared blankly into the dark. People said that if you walked by after midnight, you could hear a low hum, the tune of an old Southern hymn carried through the walls. Sometimes a shadow crossed the upstairs window. Sometimes a voice whispered a single word, home. That word appeared in dozens of accounts, always the same, a prayer too heavy to reach heaven. Even today, people in Quincy whisper that the house still stands, its true location long forgotten and quietly erased. Some point to the edge of town near the bluffs. Others say it's gone, buried beneath the foundations. But those who claim to have found it describe the same thing. The air feels different, heavy, thick with something old. One paranormal team recorded footsteps pacing on the wood that wasn't there, and faint candlelight flickering behind the sealed windows. But what haunted them the most wasn't what they saw, it was what they felt. They said the house didn't feel haunted, it felt tired. Here are 3 creepy facts to haunt your day. Quincy was one of Illinois' most divided cities during the Civil War, with Confederate sympathizers living side by side with Union families. Diaries from the time describe the tension as a haunting before the haunting. Records from 1863 mention a family under investigation for aiding the enemy, possibly the real Harper family behind the old Rebel House legend. Paranormal experts classify the Rebel House as a residual haunting, a place replaying echoes of the pain and guilt like a loop that never ends. What I love and fear about this story is how it blurs the line between haunting and history. The old Rebel House isn't just about ghosts, it's about guilt, about what lingers when we refuse to let go. When I first heard the story in Quincy, the Rebel Devil sounded like a punishment, but now I think he was something else, a lost man still trying to come home. Because war doesn't end when the fighting stops. It seeps into the walls. It lives on in the quiet places, the sigh of floorboards and the echo of boots and empty stairs. Maybe the rebel devil wasn't evil. Maybe he was just tired of being forgotten. So if you ever walk through Quincy at night and pass a house that feels like it's holding its breath, don't knock, don't look back. Just nod and let it keep its secrets. From battlefield echoes to restless spirits, the old rebel house reminds us that history doesn't haunt us because it's dead. It haunts us because it's still alive, waiting, listening, and remembering. Until next time, stay curious and always, always stay haunted.